Welcome back to another episode of Smooth Brain EDH, where we make the smoothest plays with the biggest brains. We're back from our short break from uploading and ready to bring you all new gameplay videos. This week, we decided to showcase some of the new Final Fantasy commanders, so let's check them out. First up is Matt on Yuna Grand Summoner. This Bant deck is a +1 counters deck, using Yuna to put counters on creatures and move them around, powering up his board and swinging in for massive damage. Next up is Sam on Eriette of the Charmed Apple. This Orzhov deck is all about auras, loading up opponents' creatures with auras to take advantage of both Eriette's abilities, protecting Sam's life total and draining out his opponents. Third is Chandler on Cloud X Soldier. This Nai commander is focused around equipment, with Cloud giving card advantage, free attachment of equipment, and treasures. This commander really does it all. Last is Tanner on Flubs the Fool. This teamer deck hopes to follow the Fool's journey as Flubs churns through the deck, hoping to win with damage with Glinthorn Buccaneer or Empty Library with Jace Wielder of Mysteries. We're about to hop right into the game. If you enjoyed the video, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to the channel. We have links to our social media pages, our free public Discord server, and the deck list in the description. We're partnered with Dragon Shield. Check out our affiliate link in the description if you're looking to pick up any sleeves, deck boxes, or playmats, and use code SMOOTH5 at checkout for 5% off your order. Now, onto the gameplay.
Looks like Sam wins the die roll, but Chandler's got a pregame in Leyline Axe. It goes to the field, then we'll move to Sam's turn, where he'll play Plains into turn 1 Sol Ring. Then he'll pass to Chandler. Chandler will play Iganjo as his land drop and use it to cast Sigarda's Aid. Then the turn is passed to Tanner. He'll just play a Frontier Bivouac and pass to Matt, who will play his Flooded Strand and he'll fetch for a Savannah to cast a Birds of Paradise and then pass to Sam. Sam will play a Plains and then cast Archon of Sun's Grace and then pass to Chandler. Chandler will play a basic forest as land for turn, then he'll tap for 2 and cast Sakura Tribelder, then pass to Tanner. That guy Tanner will play his mountain, then he'll cast Farseek. This will find him Ketria Triumph, and he'll pass to Matt while searching. Matt will play a basic island, then he'll cast his Sol Ring, then he's able to cast Arwen Mortal Queen, who gets that indestructible counter, and then he'll pass the turn to Sam. Sam begins his turn by tapping Sol Ring to cast Orzhov Signet. He's now able to tap for 3 and cast Black Market Connections, and there is a Constellation trigger, so he gets a 2/2 Pegasus. Chandler also decides to go ahead and sack Daddy to get a basic mount to the battlefield tapped. Sam will then move to combat and hit the Flubs player for 3 in the air, and then the turn is passed. Chandler starts his turn off with a Rockfall Veil, then he'll tap for 3 and cast Akiri, Fearless Voyager, and then he'll pass to Tanner. Tanner starts his turn off with a basic island, then he'll cast his Exploration. Well, unfortunately, he doesn't have another land drop, but he will tap for 3 and cast Monument to Endurance, and then the turn is passed to Matt. Matt will play Aspar's Headquarters, and then he's able to cast Yuna, Grand Summoner. This does leave him with 1 colorless floating, so he decides to pay into Arwen's ability and remove an indestructible counter from her. Her ability will go on the stack, and Chandler decides to respond to it by flashing in a Dragonfire Blade, which is then attached to Akiri. Then Arwen and Birds of Paradise will each get a 1/1 and a lifelink counter. Alright, then we'll move to Sam's turn, and on his pre-combat main phase, he'll pay 3 life to BMC to make a treasure and draw a card. Then he'll play Bajukabog as land for turn and exiles Chandler's graveyard. Then he'll cast his commander, Eriette, and then he'll follow it up with an Esper Sentinel. After this, he'll move to combat, and 5 flying lifelink is swung over at Chandler, who just has to take it. Then the turn is passed to Chandler, and he'll start his turn off with a Bountiful Promenade. And then Chandler decides to follow the Cast Your Commander train, and Cloud X Soldier will hit the field. It resolves, and there is an ETB trigger to attach an equipment, and Chandler chooses to put Dragonfire Blade onto him. Me personally, I would have picked the Leyline Axe, but I understand the limited protection angle. Anyways, Chandler will move to combat after this, and Akiri is swung over at Tanner, and Cloud goes over at Sam. There are 2 attack triggers, Cloud's and Akiri's, so Chandler will draw 2 cards. Tanner cannot block, so he'll take the 3 damage, and then Sam will block with Esper Sentinel, then before damage, he'll cast Not Dead After All on it. So then when Cloud obliterates it, it'll come back to the battlefield tapped with a Wicked roll. At least it should come back tapped, but I don't think that matters. Anyways, the turn is then passed to Tanner, and he'll start off with a Snow Forest. He'll then just drop a Blasphemous Act. Yep, that is a nice one-sided board wipe for him, and he does not pay the 2. Anyways, after that resolves, he'll cast Glinthorn Buccaneer, and then pass the turn to Matt. Matt will start off with a Windswept Heath, and then he'll immediately fetch with it for a Tropical Island so he can recast Yuna, then pass the turn to Sam. In Sam's pre-combat, he'll pay 3 more life to Black Market Connections to draw a card and make a treasure. He'll then play a basic Plains as land for turn, and then cast Hateful Eidolon. Then he'll cast Armored Skyhunter and pass the turn to Chandler. Chandler will start his turn off with an Urza Saga as land for turn, and it gets its first chapter. He'll then tap for 2 to cast Arcane Signet, and then 3 to cast Kutzil. He is then able to equip Kutzil with Dragonfire Blade thanks to it being 2 colors. And then the turn is passed to Tanner. He'll move to combat and swing Glinthorn Buccaneer over at Matt. Matt declares no blocks. Tanner will then activate the Glinthorn Buccaneer to discard Anger and draw a card. Couple triggers go on the stack. Glinthorn Buccaneer will deal a damage to each of his opponents, and then he'll draw a card off Monument of Endurance. Post combat, he'll cast Flubs and then pass to Matt. And Matt will tap completely out to cast Emergent Woodworm, and it'll enter with 2 1/1 counters and back up itself. That's a huge worm. Anyways, the turn is passed to Sam. He'll pay 3 more life pre-combat. Then he'll cast his commander again, and then enchant Flubs with Martial Impetus. Then he'll move to combat and Armored Skyhunter is sent over at Matt. There's an attack trigger. Sam will look at the top 6 of his library and he chooses Kaya's ghost form from among them and he'll put it onto Eriette. Then Matt will take his 3. And after that, the turn is passed. Eriette trigger on instep, draining game for 2. Let's move to Chandler's turn now. Urza Saga will tick up and then Chandler will play a command tower as land for turn. And then he'll tap for 7 to recast Cloud. And this time it's go big or go home. Leyline Axe is equipped on ETB. Then Chandler moves to combat, and Sea Loud is swung over at Tanner, and Kutzil over at Sam. There is a Cloud attack trigger, and since there's 2 equipped creatures attacking, Chandler will draw 2 cards. Then on to blocks, Flubs will go underneath Cloud, and Sam will not block. Flubs is currently a 1/6, so Cloud's first strike damage will not kill him, and then in regular damage, Tanner will take 4 from trample, and Sam takes 5. Flubs will also die, and then since 2 players were dealt damage by creatures with power greater than their base powers, Chandler draws another 2 cards. And Sam will also draw a card off his Eidolon. Man, this is just a card draw-centric combat, isn't it? Anyways, the turn is now passed to Tanner. He'll start off by going to combat, and Glinthorn goes over at Chandler. No blocks, Chandler takes his damage, and then while still in combat, Tanner will discard Tatiova to draw a card. Glinthorn and Monument will trigger, and he makes a treasure. Post-combat, Tanner will cast Faithless Looting. He'll draw 2, and then discard a land and Echo of Eons. This will trigger his Glinthorn twice, and it should trigger his Monument twice as well, but it looks like he only draws the card. Anyways, after this he'll play a Crucible of Worlds, and it looks like the land he discarded to Faithless Looting was Spire Garden, so he'll play that as his land drop. And then the turn is passed to Matt. Matt starts off by tapping Yuna for a green, and then another green land, and he'll cast the Great Henge. Then he's able to drop Rishkar's Expertise. So he'll just draw a casual 9 cards, and then free cast Crystalline Crawler. Now, since Yuna's ability works on the next creature spell cast, it'll enter with 2 1/1 counters, and then it should get another one from Great Henge and he'll draw a card. He misses it initially, but he'll remember it. Anyways, he'll remove the 2 1/1 counters from the Crawler to cast Innkeeper's Talent, and then he'll level it up. This is where he remembers the Great Henge. Then he'll move to combat, and Innkeeper's Talent will give his worm another counter. And then the Fear of Flubs is real. 10 damage is swung over at Tanner, and there's an attack trigger. Matt gets to look at the top 10 cards of his library, and he'll put Titus, Yuna's Guardian, onto the battlefield. Then Tanner will take his 10 damage. This will trigger the newly injured Titus, so Matt will draw a card and proliferate. He'll then pass the turn, and he's got a lot to discard. I'm going to let him tell you.
Forest, Rejuvenating Springs, Quilt, Great Worm, Misty Rainforest, and Hollow Fountain.
Alright, let's move to Sam's turn. He'll start by paying 2 life to Black Market Connections to draw a card. He'll then play Marsh Flats as land for turn, and he'll fetch for a Shadowy Backstreet and Surveil. It stays on top, then Sam will enchant Cloud with Angelic Destiny. Chandler was upset at first, then he read the card and went, oh. Then Matt's worm will get an Unholy Indenture. After this, Armored Skyhunter will go over at Matt for 3, the attack trigger will unfortunately whiff, and Matt will take his 3. Post-combat, Sam will cast a Codsworth, and then he'll pass the turn, drain 3 on instep. On Chandler's turn, Urza Saga ticks up to 3, and this will tutor a Shadow Spear to the battlefield. It'll then auto-equip to Cloud. After this, Chandler will play an Arid Mesa as land for turn, and then he'll move to combat. 10 flying double strike trample lifelink is swung over at Matt, and it is command damage. And then Kutzil is swung over at Sam. Cloud's attack trigger will draw Chandler 2 cards and he'll make 2 treasure tokens. He'll remember those here in a bit. Matt can't block, and Sam will declare blocks with his Eidolon, but Chandler will stop before damage to flash in a Basilisk Collar that he drew off Cloud's ability. And Sigarda's Aid will auto-equip it to Kutzil. So after everything is said and done, Matt takes 20 commander, Sam takes nothing, and Chandler gains 25 life. He'll also draw 2 more cards off of Kutzil thanks to double strike damage. He'll then cast a Birthright boon and tutor a Sunforger to his hand. Treasures are then remembered, and then the turn is passed to Tanner. Chandler discards a land on instep, and then Tanner will play a Misty Rainforest. He'll then flash back a Faithless Looting, so he'll draw 2 and discard Wooded Foothills and Scalding Tarn. Glinthorn and Monument triggers. Treasure and lose 3 are the 2 chosen modes, and this will unfortunately kill Matt. After this, Tanner will flash back Echo of Eons. Chandler will respond to this by cracking his Arid Mesa. This will find him a basic Plains, then he'll flash in his Sunforger, which auto-equips to Kutzil. Then the Echo resolves, so hands and graveyards are shuffled into libraries, and everyone draws a fresh 7. Then, after this, thanks to Exploration and Crucible of Worlds, Tanner will double fetch with Misty Rainforest for a basic island and forest. He'll then cast a Jeska's Will targeting Sam to float 7 red mana, and then he'll cast a Surly Badgersaur. After this, Glinthorn Buccaneer goes over at Chandler. Chandler just takes the 2, and then the turn is passed to Sam. Pre-combat, Sam will pay a life to make a treasure token. Then he'll tap for 5 and cast Boon of the Spirit Realm. It gets a constellation counter when it enters, then he'll cast a Talisman of Hierarchy. Then Glinthorn Buccaneer is enchanted with Vampiric Link. And there's another constellation trigger. He'll then drop a Tempest Technique. Storm Trigger. He's cast 3 other spells this turn, so 3 more copies of it go on the stack. He puts the original and a copy on Eriette, and then 2 more copies on Armored Skyhunter. And there's 4 more constellation triggers. Okay, things are getting really big. And after a bit of counting, we find out that Eriette is 27 power, and Armored Skyhunter is 28. So Sam will try to go for the win now. 27 Commander is swung over at Chandler, and then 28 is swung over in the air at Tanner. There is an active Sunforger on the field, but I assume Sam has some sort of protection for Eriette. But, in response to the Skyhunter's trigger, Chandler will still unequip Sunforger, and he goes and finds Teferi's protection. Yeah, so he'll cast it for free and nope out of the game. Unfortunately for Tanner though, he's got nothing, so he is obliterated here. Sam also remembers his Armored Skyhunter trigger, and there's nothing he wants on his own creatures, so he just declines the trigger. Then Sam will just pass the turn. On instep, Eriette's trigger will drain Chandler for nothing because Teferi's protection is still active, and Sam will gain 5 life. Yes, 5, not 6, because that aura on Cloud phased out with him. Alright, let's move to Chandler's turn now. With Kutzil out, if he can get rid of that aura on Cloud, he might have a chance at beating Sam. And the first thing Chandler will do on his turn is tap for 7 and cast Ugin, Eye of the Storms. The cast trigger will exile the aura on Cloud. Then Chandler will 0 Ugin to float 3 colorless mana and use it to equip Sunforger to Cloud. He'll then play a Wasteland as land for turn and then move to combat. Everything is swung at Sam. Cloud attack trigger will make him 2 more treasures and draw him 2 cards. Then Sam will take 25 total damage, 20 of which is Commander. This will draw Chandler 3 more cards, and then post-combat, he'll cast Chandra's Ignition by using his 1 untapped Wasteland and 4 treasures, targeting Cloud. This does 10 damage to Sam and kills him. So there you have it. Today's winners are Chandler and Cloud. Congratulations. Alright everybody, welcome to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed seeing these new Final Fantasy commanders fight against some popular Magic the Gathering commanders. Also, thank you all for letting us have that 2-week break. The editor, did get a little burnt out, but I'm back in the saddle again and I'm feeling good. Anyways, if you all enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're down there, be sure to check out all our wacky links in the description. But that's enough out of me for today. I hope you all have a smooth day.